Hey everyone. For the first half of today's Abbott and Costello double feature, we have their 1953 comedy, Abbott and Costello Go to Mars. Now, after accidentally breaking a window, orphanage groundskeeper Orville, Lou Costello, hides in a truck. He soon finds himself being taken to a secret base where a rocket ship is being developed. Now, the truck driver, Lester, Bud Abbott, catches him and, believing him to be a spy, takes him to Dr. Wilson, Robert Page, who is the head of the base. Now, Dr. Wilson doesn't believe him to be a threat, but he asks Orville to stay just the same, as a result of the whole project's secrecy. So Lester gets him to help load up the rocket, but in the process, they accidentally launch, with just the two of them aboard. Now, trying to figure out how to steer the rocket, they end up going in or around numerous landmarks. When they hear on the radio that the government has called out the army to shoot the ship down, Lester and Orville decide to head for space. Orville accidentally hits another button, which results in them landing. Lester and Orville assume that they have landed on Mars, but the reality is that they have landed in New Orleans during Mardi Gras. Now, donning their spacesuits, they go into town and encounter the various Martians. Again, just people wearing various costumes. Meanwhile, a pair of escaped convicts, the highly educated Muggsy, Horace McMahon, and his less educated friend Harry, Jack Crucian, come upon the rocket ship as Lester and Orville are leaving. Now, Muggsy and Harry put on some spacesuits themselves and go into town, where they proceed to rob the bank and a clothing store before returning to the rocket. Lester and Orville hear about the robbery at the same time as some of the townspeople and have to run, since they match the description of the thieves. They get back to the ship where Muggsy and Harry force them to take off. This time they actually do head for space, although they end up heading towards the planet Venus. Before they land there, Lester and Orville regain control of the ship, but upon landing, they discover that they are out of fuel. Now, Orville is sent off the ship to look around, and he discovers that the planet is inhabited entirely by women. The women are led by Queen Allura, Mary Blanchard, who had previously banished all men from the planet. However, a celestial light comes over Orville, and so the Queen's subjects want Orville declared king. Meanwhile, Lester, Muggsy, and Harry are captured, but Lester is freed by King Orville, while the other two are sent to the dungeon. Queen Allura keeps Orville on a tight leash, so to speak, threatening to banish him if he even thinks about cheating on her. Will Lester and Orville get out of this ordeal and get back to Earth? Now, for me, Abbott and Costello Go to Mars continues the downward trajectory of the later Universal Abbott and Costello films. There are a number of things that bother me about it, but the casting of the Miss Universe 1953 contestants as the inhabitants of Venus bugs me the most. I mean, according to the movie, the inhabitants of Venus are supposed to banish men nearly 400 years before, and in that time become a much more advanced civilization, both in technology and science, having discovered the secrets of eternal life and youth, etc. And yet, based on the script and performances, I just don't feel like that's actually the case. For me, the women all act more like what I would expect the stereotypical beauty contestants to behave. I mean, they don't seem as intelligent as one would think they should be, and they look like they could be easily conquered if the planet were invaded. Now, it would be one thing if the script had them acting that way just around the men to fool them and seduce them and capture them, but they behave that way around each other. Now, to me, that just doesn't work. Now, seriously, if they were more like Amazons, maybe, than beauty queens, they have looked tougher to conquer. That and the script would need to be changed to make them a whole lot more intelligent. Now, the casting of the Miss Universe contestants is hardly this film's only problem. It doesn't help that, in spite of the film's title, Bud and Lou's characters never actually go to Mars, instead just visiting New Orleans and Venus. I would also say that it feels at times like some scenes and characters are otherwise unnecessary, such as the opening with Lou's character at the orphanage, Martha Here's character of Janie Howe, etc. Maybe I am being a little harsh on this movie. I personally just don't care for most science fiction films, particularly from this era of film, and adding Abbott and Costello when they are not in their prime doesn't help. I know I previously gave a poor review for the similar road comedy, The Road to Hong Kong, but when all is said and done, I still go back to that film far more than I generally want to with this one. Now, it does have its merits, and I enjoy seeing it here and there, but still feels like one of the worst Abbott and Costello films, and I therefore cannot bring myself to recommend it. Still, if you're interested, the movie is available on Blu-ray from Shout Factory as part of the 28 film The Complete Abbott and Costello Universal Pictures Collection, and is 1 hour and 17 minutes in length. Well, that should be all I have to say on this one, everybody, so thanks for listening, and I hope you'll keep tuning in for more.